Listen, everyone, the biggest fight you'll ever face in life is not with your boss, your family, or your friends. It's with yourself. It's with your emotions. Because the moment you lose control of your emotions, you lose control of your future. And the moment you learn to master them, nothing and no one can stop you. Your biggest battle is not with the people around you. It is with yourself and your emotions. Too often, we believe that life's struggles come from what others say or do to us. But the truth is, the real challenge lies within. When someone disrespects you, your emotions instantly rise, pushing you to react. When someone doubts you, your pride whispers that you must prove them wrong immediately. When life puts pressure on you, your feelings scream louder than logic, demanding a reaction. And that's where most people lose, not because of what was said, but because they couldn't control how they felt in that moment. Think about it. Every bad decision, every regret, every conflict usually comes from one thing: an emotional reaction that wasn't controlled. You said something you didn't mean because you were angry. You made a choice you shouldn't have because you were desperate. You walked away from something valuable because your emotions convinced you it wasn't worth it. That's why your greatest enemy is not external. It's the war inside your own mind and heart. If you can't master your emotions will master you. And when that happens, you're no longer in control of your life. You're simply a puppet to your feelings, pulled left and right with no direction. But when you choose to fight that inner battle, when you pause, when you breathe, when you decide to think instead of react, you win. You win not against others, but against the version of yourself that wants to self-destruct. The moment you start controlling your emotions, you start controlling your destiny. The real victory isn't in defeating other people. It's in defeating the weakness within yourself that keeps trying to hold you back. True strength is not shown in how loud you can raise your voice, how quickly you can argue back, or how forcefully you can express anger. Real strength is revealed in the quiet moments, in the times when you feel the heat of frustration building inside, but you choose to stay calm and in control. Anybody can lose their temper. Anybody can snap under pressure, but it takes discipline and maturity to hold your ground with silence, to let your calmness speak louder than your words ever could. That is what separates those who are controlled by their emotions from those who have learned to master them. When people provoke you, they expect a reaction. They want to see you lose control. They want to see you break character. They want to know they have power over your emotions. The strongest response you can give in those moments is not to shout back, but to remain unshaken. Staying calm is not weakness. It is a sign that you have control over yourself. And when you control yourself, you control the situation. Think about the leaders, the people you respect most. They are not the ones who lose their cool at every challenge. They are the ones who keep their composure, who choose their words carefully, who know when to speak and when to remain silent. Strength is not about overpowering others with aggression. It's about proving that nothing and no one can move you off your foundation. When you are calm, you can think clearly. When you are calm, you can see solutions that anger blinds you from. True power is not in the noise you make, but in the peace you carry even when the world around you is loud. Talking less and listening more is one of the most underrated skills that can transform your life. Most people think communication is about how well you can speak, but the truth is the greatest growth happens when you learn to listen. When you talk too much, you only repeat what you already know. But when you listen, you open yourself up to learning something new. Listening gives you the chance to gain information, to understand perspectives you never considered, and to gather wisdom that can guide your decisions. Many people lose respect without realizing it simply because they don't know how to listen. They interrupt, they argue, they speak over others, and in doing so, they send a clear message. My words matter more than yours. But when you listen quietly, you communicate respect. You show maturity, patience, and control. People naturally respect the one who listens more than the one who shouts. The one who listens gains trust, and trust is more valuable than winning any argument. When you listen, you don't just hear words. You hear intention, emotion, and meaning. You catch details others miss. You recognize patterns, opportunities, and warnings that talking would have caused you to overlook. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. The ability to pause, to absorb, to reflect before responding makes you more powerful than someone who reacts instantly. Think of it like this: the more you listen, the sharper your mind becomes. You respond with wisdom instead of emotion. You move with clarity instead of confusion. You make decisions from understanding instead of assumption. Talking gives you expression, but listening gives you power. And when you choose to listen more than you speak, you gain the advantage that most people will never have. Exploding in anger is the easiest thing anyone can do. It doesn't take skill. It doesn't take discipline. It doesn't take strength. All it takes is a moment of losing control. But that's the problem. When you explode, you are no longer in control. You hand over the steering wheel of your life to your emotions. And once that happens, you can't predict where it will take you. It might destroy a relationship, ruin an opportunity, or damage your reputation in ways you never intended. That's why real discipline is not in how quickly you can react, but in how strongly you can resist the urge to react. Self-control is a skill that separates people who achieve long-term success from those who keep repeating the same mistakes. It is easy to justify emotional outbursts by saying, I was angry or I couldn't help it, but those excuses don't fix the damage left behind. Discipline is choosing not to let your anger speak for you. Discipline is pausing, thinking, and deciding whether what you want to say or do will help you or hurt you. Anyone can be loud, anyone can be aggressive, but not everyone has the discipline to stay calm under pressure. That's why people who master their self-control stand out. They show that no matter what comes their way, they cannot be shaken by temporary emotions. And when others see that, they respect it, they trust it, they admire it, because true power isn't found in chaos, it's found in calmness. The disciplined person understands that silence can be louder than shouting, that patience can solve problems anger never could, and that controlling your emotions is the ultimate proof that you are in charge of your life, not your feelings. Leaders are not built in moments of comfort. They are built in moments of pressure when emotions are high and decisions matter. What separates a true leader from everyone else is not how fast they speak or how hard they push back, but how well they can control themselves when everything around them is chaotic. Restraint, patience, and thoughtful responses are the foundation of leadership. Anyone can speak without thinking, but a leader chooses to pause, reflect, and respond with clarity. That pause is where wisdom lives, and that pause is what prevents costly mistakes. When you learn to hold your emotions, you build trust with the people around you. They know you won't react recklessly. They know you won't let pride or anger lead the way, and that gives them confidence in following you. Leadership is not about dominating others. It is about guiding them. And you cannot guide if you are constantly pulled off course by your own feelings. Patience allows you to see beyond the moment, to look past temporary emotions and focus on the bigger picture. Restraint also shows strength. It communicates that no one else has control over your mind or your mood. When you remain calm in the middle of tension, you send a clear message that you are in charge of yourself. That steadiness is what makes people want to listen to you, respect you, and follow your direction. A leader doesn't just react, they calculate, they listen, they consider, and then they act with purpose. The truth is, anyone can call themselves a leader, but real leadership is tested in those quiet moments where you choose patience over pride, calm over chaos, and wisdom over impulse. That is how leaders are made. Before reacting, pause. Before you let your emotions dictate your actions, take a breath. That small decision to slow down can be the difference between peace and regret. Too many people lose control in the heat of the moment because they never give themselves time to think. They allow anger, pride, or frustration to jump ahead of wisdom. And once words are spoken or actions are taken, they can't be taken back. The key to controlling your emotions is not found in ignoring them, but in managing them. When you choose to breathe, to listen, and to reflect before reacting, you place yourself back in control. Listening first allows you to gather understanding instead of assumptions. It gives you a chance to process what is really happening rather than what your feelings are telling you. Most conflicts don't come from what actually happened. They come from misinterpretation, from reacting too quickly without knowing the full truth. That's why listening is powerful. It slows down the storm and brings clarity to your mind. Choosing control over emotion is not always easy. Your feelings will demand a reaction. They will push you to move without thinking. But discipline is about resisting that urge. Each time you pause, each time you choose patience, you strengthen your ability to stay in charge of yourself. Over time, it becomes a habit, and that habit becomes part of your character. The person who can stay calm under pressure, who can listen before speaking, who can choose to respond instead of react, always has the advantage. They think clearly while others are blinded by anger. They make better decisions while others are consumed by emotion. That control doesn't just protect your peace. It shapes the direction of your entire life. At the end of the day, success doesn't belong to the loudest person in the room. It belongs to the one who can stay calm, stay focused, and stay in control. Don't let your emotions run your life. Train them, master them, and use them to build the future you deserve. Control your emotions. Listen quietly, and you'll find the strength that separates winners from everyone else.